Hi there everybody, welcome back to Win-Loss Record where good decks go to die, and today we've not even got a good deck. So we're starting a new month and that means that we've got to start a new deck for this series. I asked my buddy Antonio over at Sons of Russell what we should be playing this month and he chose Kuriboh, which is not a very good deck and it's not very strong, and it basically has one play. We either need to get 5-star Twilight to go off or Kuriboh plus Multiply to go off in order to be able to link climb into some of our stronger link monsters. So it can do some useful things and it can summon a ton of little Kuribohs to the board, but honestly the likelihood is not very high. But never mind, let's see what we can do here. We've got our first duel here and we are going first, but we don't have a whole lot that we can really do. We can have Lure of Darkness safely and then be able to summon out 2 level 5s to go into Volcasaurus and then just set one pass. It is not a very good end board. It's not what I'm looking for here. He imperms the Volcasaurus immediately and then we look like we're in for some Sword Soul plays here. Now, he actually takes quite a strange line when it comes to these Sword Soul plays. I'm not quite sure fully what he was going for here, but he does bring out a pretty good board to be able to try and take me down. He goes into his Longyuan Synchro. Pretty sure it's called Longyuan anyway. And then he also goes into a Draco Berserker of the Tenyi and starts burning me a little bit for some of this life points. Takes that down with Draco Berserker, takes that down with Draco Berserker. We get to summon out another body, so we've got a couple of Kuribohs that are on the board, and then we can do a little search as well. On to my turn now, and now I'm actually quite happy with how this turn kind of went here. So we get to summon out a level 5 and then use our 5-star Twilight, which just summons out all of the Kuriboh brothers. One of them gets sent away and we get burnt, but we get to go into the Relinquished Anima, try and steal the Draco Berserker, but that takes away the Draco Berserker either way, so that's absolutely fine. And we go into IP Masquerena and Link Kuriboh, and then a Nightmare Unicorn in order to be able to shuffle that. And Access Code Toolkit to get rid of his Longyuan, which is a pretty nice way of being able to just break down the board there. I was quite happy with all of that. I was thinking maybe the first game of the series with Kuriboh might go our way. But then this Lightning Storm just takes out the Access Code Toolkit, and we're both left just drawing cards and hoping for the best. Our Allure of Darkness doesn't go our way. 2 multiplies, not worth it, doesn't work out, which is a bit of a shame. And now he draws out into his Sword Soul Emergence, so he's going to be able to just combo off and eventually take us out in this one. But you know what? We broke down a good board with Kuribohs. I will take it. I played a couple of practice games with Kuribohs to check what I was doing, then realised what I'm doing is very straightforward. But I didn't play a whole lot, so this was kind of still me trying to get into playing Kuriboh again. But we do lose to Sword Soul in our first game, going to 0-1 in the series straight away. And this time we are going second. And we're against SPYRAL. Now, one thing I didn't realise about SPYRAL is just how long these turns will take. I was actually, when I was playing all of this, I was thinking to myself, is he going to like time himself out with this turn? Because it is insane how far that he can go. And there's a reason that SPYRAL was one of the sort of best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! At one point. Obviously, it's had better days nowadays, but it was one of the top decks of the meta quite a while ago now. As you can see by our hand, though, we don't have a whole lot that we're going to be able to work with here. We've got a little bit that we can do, but not a massive amount. We do have an Allure of Darkness when we get in there, which will allow us to safely be able to draw a couple of cards. But he's going into his Draco Futures and things like that, revealing the Kuriboh so that he can get some extra draws and extra summons going. It's just a big long combos. Bring out the Nightmare Phoenix. The Link Kuriboh comes out now. It's just a huge combo. Which is a shame. It's a shame. It's insane, this deck is. How far it can just keep going and keep going. And I imagine that he was actually running low on time when he was playing this, because what he ends up with, I don't know. I feel like it could have been stronger. He gets the Nightmare Griffin out, which we do want to deal with that as soon as we possibly can. But I was thinking, we're looking at the end board that we had here, I was thinking there's a chance here that we can do a little bit of something. So we go in straight away for the Allure of Darkness. And we actually do get 5-star Twilight, and then I made the mistake of banishing the wrong monster, so we couldn't use the 5-star Twilight for this. Flute Summoning Kuriboh brings out the Kuriboh, and there we can go into the 5-star Twilight. Oh, so I got that wrong, okay. Managed to get rid of his Nightmare Griffin, but then he Artifact Scythes us, and that means that we can't carry on with any of our combo, just leaving us with a bunch of Kuribohs on the field as a buffer, which might work for Yugi in the anime, you know, multiply, just summoning out infinite number of Kuribohs, but unfortunately we've only got 5 spaces on the board that we can use, and he can just attack in 4 games. So that Artifact Scythe really put a stop to me, like, really hard. I feel like we could have done a little bit more from there. Obviously we had a ton of link plays that we could go into, so I feel like there was more that we could have done there, so it was a bit of a shame. On to our Duel 3, and we get to go first this time. Summoning out the horse, and then unfortunately our 5-star Twilight does get negated, so we just go into SP Little Knight Pass after using the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. This time here we're going to be playing against Dark Magician. So Dark Magician, obviously 2 big monsters from Yugi's decks. We've got Dark Magician versus Kuriboh, and we use the SP Little Knight to banish away his Timaeus, so that he couldn't use that for fusions. I kind of wanted to force him into going into the Dark Magicians, or hope that he didn't have one in his hand. So we're going to Relinquished Anima here to pinch his Dark Magicians off him, then we're just going to crash. But unfortunately that still activates the Dark Magician's effect to summon the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from the deck. He makes the mistake of activating his spell card with that, which allows us to use the SP Little Knight. So we're still taking a little bit of chip damage here, we're still taking a bit of damage throughout. We're going to link off the SP Little Knight this time and bring out our own Dark Magicians using the Dark Charmer Gloomy. Attack over the Dark Magician Girl, but unfortunately he's got Dark Hole, and just Dark Holes, and then of course using the Dark Magicians he can just special summon his Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl back and attack in 4 games. So honestly, without that Dark Hole being played, I feel like we weren't in too bad of a predicament there. But he does look out with the Dark Hole, and we go 0 for 3. I'm starting to sense a theme here. Game 4, and we are going second, and we're playing Branded. It's not good. It's not good for us. It really isn't good, and we didn't have anything to be able to stop him from being able to go into this. But he just ends on a Mirror Jade. It's not a crazy board for him to end on or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about this. But this is the one where I think I do actually banish the wrong thing. I reborned his monster so that I could get out the Babylon. I was going to 5-star Twilight, and then that's when I realised that I'd banished the wrong monster so that I couldn't summon out my host of Kuribohs. If I hadn't have done that, I feel like I would have been in a good spot, but unfortunately he attacks over with a Mirror Jade, which isn't too bad. I set 1 pass, but it's not looking like we've got a whole lot of options here. He does Branded Fusion once more. Goes in for the battle phase, attacks over my Wing Kuriboh this time. Wing Kuriboh would stop any extra battles going on and stuff like that, but there was nothing else to do anyway, so it's fine. We summon out our horse, go into the battle phase to attack directly, and just getting a little bit of chip in there. I kind of already knew that this game was a wash, that we weren't getting anything worthwhile. This 5-star Twilight just sitting in my hand, just not being able to do anything because of that early misplay, which really sucked. He attacks him with his 2 monsters, super polys it off, and then attacks in for game. So we're going to go 0-4 in the first episode of win-loss record for Kuribohs. We've got one duel left to show you. Can we go 1-4? Can we get a win on the board? As soon as we can get a win on the board, I'm sure that Kuribohs are going to go ham. We're going first here, and we do actually get a decent hand. So we can summon out our Astral Kuriboh and bring it to level 5, which allows us to use 5-star Twilight, summoning out all of our Kuriboh brothers. We can then go into the IP Masquerader, into a Link Kuriboh, use Flute Summoning Kuriboh, and then summon out the Kuriborn in order to get out an Appaloosa with 4 negates. This is like one of the best boards that I've been able to build so far. He uses Cup of Ace and unfortunately loses his coin toss. And we're just going to Appaloosa negate. And he goes in for a Tyrant Dragon. He then hard summons his Dictator of D. We're going to go into Nightmare Unicorn, discard a card, spin the Tyrant Dragon back, and he just scoops there and then. So, really happy with how that went. Kuriboh managed to beat Blue Eyes once more, and we go 1-4 for this series. So, we're going to be carrying on with Kuriboh next week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.